Hey everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Kevin,
I'm Chad.
and we're Make It Interactive, and hope the New Year's off to a good start for y'all.
Yes.
And we know that this is a time of year where a lot of people are in the process of making resolutions and breaking resolutions, and so we wanted to share with you all a resolution that we've started to make, and we think that a lot of you would like to incorporate maybe into your resolutions for the year.
Yeah, it's something that we've kind of stumbled into the past couple years around Christmas time, which has been individually, we've been making things for people and about them.
Mm-hmm.
And it started as like we wanted to give gifts to people, and we thought, well, what can we give them? We don't have a lot of money. And Kevin's like, I like doing poetry, I like doing music. And so naturally, at some point, we just decided we'll just use these, whatever gifts we have here, and the little money we have to make these things, and finding it really gratifying, actually, and seeing it as a worthwhile gift to give people.
Now, one of the reasons that we're bringing this up now as opposed to a month ago during Christmas time is that sometimes to make gifts for people takes a decent amount of time. So a couple of years ago, I wrote an epic poem. So this is, maybe I think 10,000 words or so. And so to write that whole thing took the entire course of a year. And then when I finally finished it, right before Christmas time, I was able to dedicate it to my dad, my brother, and my other brother right here, Chad. So that was like a really cool thing that I had worked on, and then I was able to make it be for these people, even though it wasn't necessarily specifically about them.
Right. And a couple of years ago, I decided to make this, which is just a CD. And it was a collection of songs that I wrote, an album of sorts, called My Family Thus Far. And so I wrote songs not only for people, but about them. There's kind of a subtle difference, maybe we'll get to a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it was a lot of work, writing and then recording all these songs. I can't remember how many family members there were at the time, but including like nieces and nephews and stuff. And it took a lot of work, but I enjoyed it a lot. And I've gotten a lot of gratification even years later listening to these songs again, because they mean a lot to me. And I hope they mean a lot to the people I wrote them for and about. But it reminds me about things that I love about each of the members of my family. So it's just all around been very rewarding, making these things.
So we kind of tease that distinction between creating things that are for people, but not necessarily about them, or not necessarily like specifically inspired for them, but you dedicate it to
Mm-hmm.
them, and creating something that is actually about that person or inspired by that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those two different types of gifts kind of have different barriers with them. So I think when you're creating something for someone, like this epic poem, one of the things that can kind of prevent you from doing that and then giving it to people as a gift is you can kind of think like, oh, I've made this really long poem, and I don't even know if people are really going to like it. I don't know if they're going to be into that sort of thing. And so you can kind of hold yourself back from giving a gift because you don't know if people will want it, and you think maybe they'd prefer getting just like a movie or some other thing that you can buy in a store.
Mm-hmm. And kind of the barrier to writing songs or making something about someone, actually, rather, and in my case, songs, is that it can be very vulnerable. Not necessarily worried about like rejection. Like if I write a song about my mom, essentially telling her what I love about her, I'm not worried that she's going to be like, oh, that's creepy or weird or whatever. But there's something, you probably understand, that it can be hard to tell people how you really feel about them, even if it's really positive. I think that's just something just very human, actually. And it's hard for us to say things like, I love you, and it's hard to make things that pretty much say, I love you, and I love these things about you. So that's something that it can be hard to get over, but it's always really rewarding, isn't it, when you actually do it, when you take that kind of leap to, to say to someone, I love you, with some sort of gesture or gift, in a way that you don't typically. You seldom regret gestures like that.
So this is kind of our attempt to kind of push you over the ledge to get you, even right now, started to working on something either for someone or something about someone. And let's just give some people some ideas from other things that we've worked on.
Right. So for me, actually, right now, as far as what I'm thinking about for this year, I'm becoming a father. So in less than 2 months, I will have a baby somewhere lying in this apartment. And I'm starting to think, okay, if I've written these songs for other family members, obviously I'm going to want to do something, if not more, for these kids of mine. I'm going to have, so I'm starting to have my wheels spinning about, am I going to write songs? Am I going to write something? Like, I even thought about picture books and illustrating them, maybe even self-publishing them. And so that's what I'm starting to get my wheels spinning on, and that's something I can be working on throughout the whole year, and even beyond. But it's something that I think that's what I want to do. That's going to be my resolution, probably, is to figure that out and start working on it. So, what about you?
So, not yet on the thing that I'm going to do for this
okay.
year, but another thing that I've done in the past is, for the past couple of years, every single week I wrote a letter to my currently hypothetical future kids. The idea being that when they end up being my same age right now, in their mid-20s or so, that I would give them this collection of letters that I'd written at that same point in life, and they'd be able to kind of connect with me on a different sort of level. So that's an idea for you. You could write letters, it could just be kind of like talking about what's going on, kind of like a diary, except kind of with your specific kids in mind. It could be my thing. Part of it was like kind of talking about what's going on in life, and part of it was sharing some ideas that I was having. Part of it was like sharing memories and other things that I wasn't sure if I'd, still remember them when I was older, or if I'd feel comfortable when I was older sharing those kinds of things. So I thought, well, I can kind of do it now where I'm a little more removed from the situation. So that's writing letters to your kids, either pre-kids, or if you currently had kids, you could still do it now. Like Chad said, poetry, basically anything that you can do creative can be something for this. So you could do crafts. We've done wood burning stuff for people. You could do, a collection of drawings or paintings or things like that for different people. And my personal creative goals for the year would probably be, I've had a poem, another epic length poem story that I started halfway through this past year, and so I didn't have enough time to finish it up to give it to people for Christmas, but I'm hoping by this coming Christmas, I'll have that done to be able to give to some people. And then my other big project that I'm working on, actually for school up here at seminary, is a poetic adaptation of the Gospel of John. So I'm really excited to have that finished.
I hope that'll be in my stocking next year. So
yeah, guaranteed.
So the idea behind this is that we talk about making a lot. And one of the hashtags we use a lot is live to make, because we think making is a big part of who we are as humans and who God created us to be, our co-creators with Him. But there's the other hashtag we use, which is make to give. So we live to make, but we make to give. So there's kind of a turning outward of your making that you want to give to other people, and that it won't just gratify you and help you, but also help and gratify others. And so that's the idea behind this. So we just encourage you this new year, if some of your goals don't include making things, maybe consider that. And if you're already thinking about things you want to make, consider making things for people or even about them.
Yeah, and if you have an idea and you want to share it with us, we'd love to hear what you've got in mind.
Hit us up anywhere that you can find us on the interwebs. All right.
So, thanks, everybody.
Peace. Happy New Year, friends.
Happy New Year.
All right, bye.
Bye.